Please rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Court of the 12th Judicial Circuit in and for DeSoto, Manatee, and Sarasota counties is now open and convened, with judges attending en banc for the investiture of the Honorable John F. Lakin. All are invited to draw near and give attention as the court is now in session. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. Beautiful day. What a great day. And on behalf of all the judges that are here from the 12th Judicial Circuit, we want to welcome you to the investiture ceremony of John F. Lakin. Certainly this is a very exciting day for John and his family, but it's likewise a very exciting day for the judges of the 12th Circuit as we welcome our newest judge to the bench. Those of you that know John, and I'm sure that most of you do, know that he is going to be an outstanding judge. And your presence here today is certainly appreciated by all of the judges, and we thank you very much. This time I'd like to turn the proceedings over to Andrea.
Thank you, Judge. Judges of the 12th Judicial Circuit, family and friends of Judge John Lakin, and my fellow attorneys, I am privileged and humbled today to stand before you as your host at this investiture of my old friend John Lakin. John and I go way back. It started in about 2001 when he first landed on the sands of Florida. I soon found myself thereafter in 2002 on a plane ride to the Super Bowl in a two-prop plane with Mr. Lakin. As you all know, friends of Mr. Lakin, he is a avid Super Bowl fan. I was taking a nap somewhere over the Gulf to find myself waking up, and John was in the co-pilot seat, earmuffs on, trying to wrestle the yoke from the pilot. John was a take charge kind of guy, and at that point I realized this guy has potential to be a judge someday. When he joined shortly thereafter, and we spent many years together, when he became judge, he took his last 2 months of private practice and spent it at my office renting a room. And it was kind of funny. The first day he came in, he noticed that all the lines had judge marked on them, and he thought we had done that for him. That was actually our emergency line for any judge calling in, but we didn't have the heart to break it to him. But with that all being said, knowing Judge Lakin all these years, I have come to find that he's a student of three things: history, movies, and sports. And I find it fitting today that I touch upon these three topics. Alexander Hamilton wrote the following in the Federalist Papers about the unique role of judges in our society. It has been frequently remarked with great propriety that a voluminous code of laws is one of the inconveniences necessarily connected with the advantages of a free government. To avoid an arbitrary discretion in the courts, it is indispensable that they should be bound down by strict rules and precedents which serve to define and point out their duty in every particular case that comes before them. And it will readily be conceived from the variety of controversies which grow out of the folly and wickedness of mankind that the records of those precedents must unavoidably swell to a very considerable bulk and must demand long and laborious study to acquire a competent knowledge of them. Hence, it is that there can be but few men in the society who will have the sufficient skill in the laws to qualify them for the station of judges. In making the proper deductions for the ordinary depravity of human nature, the number must be still smaller of those who unite the requisite integrity with the requisite knowledge. We are fortunate here today to have in this circuit jurists whom, like Judge Lakin now joins, who have served with the requisite integrity and knowledge of which our founders spoke. I'd like to give a hand for our judges, please. One of Judge Lakin's favorite movies is A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson. Y'all might remember that, and Tom Cruise. In the famous cross-examination scene, Colonel Nathan Jessup, who was played by Nicholson, and Lieutenant Caffey, who was played by Cruise, responded to Cruise's cross, stating as follows: "I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then question the manner in which I provide it." And Jessup further goes on to say, "We live in a world that has walls. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall." Judge Lakin has now put his private practice aside to take up his place on that wall, to ensure the protection of our civil rights and liberties. It is sacrifices like his and his fellow judges that make this a great country that we live. We owe Judge Lakin our gratitude and support as he takes on these responsibilities. Finally, I conclude with Judge Lakin's favorite pastime, sports. John has noted as saying that a judge's job is like an umpire, having to call balls and strikes. But let me cite to you a caveat made by Ron Luciano, a well-known umpire. Umpiring is best described as the profession of standing between two 7-year-olds with an ice cream cone. Let me suggest that Judge Lakin will often find himself in that position, standing between two lawyers and an ice cream cone. I am confident he will have the temperament and perseverance to deal with the daily demands of his position, to take charge of the courtroom and administer justice fairly and with integrity. We will all look forward to what I am sure will be a successful career. I would like to now call on Reverend George Hogan to give the invocation.
I am privileged to be here. Judge Lakin and his family were parishioners in my parish. With my Boston accent, you can tell I'm not from here. I received a text before I walked in today. In Boston, it's 26 degrees. So really happy to be here. Let us bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Muhammad, Buddha, and Jesus, we gather today under your guidance to invest Circuit Court Judge John Lakin into the task of ruling on the law. Laws are the central vehicle that drives society away from chaos into a community of promise and hope. Today in the Catholic tradition, we celebrate the conversion of St. Paul. Saul was a Pharisee of principle who could only see one point of view. Jesus blinded him from his past and revealed the light of truth, changed his name and lifestyle. Paul became compassionate and understanding of both Jew and Gentile. Lord, we ask you to bestow on Judge Lakin a duty to follow the law with compassion and understanding, and above all, with a sense of humor. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I'd like to ask now that the Pledge of Allegiance be held by Brian Lakin. He's a 20 years of service as a police officer with Harvard University.
Good afternoon. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you.
We have now Miss Joy Lakin, daughter of Judge Lakin, who will do the national anthem. She is at the Frost School of Music and at Opera and at the University of Miami.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
As part of the investiture, there are some presentations that are done. And the first one will be done by Charles Webb, President of the Manatee County Bar Association.
I was wondering where you are. Judge, I can't tell you how happy the Manatee County Bar Association is to see you ascend to the judgeship.
Let me just get this from
Okay. You're an exceptional lawyer. We look forward to practice before you and look forward to fair rulings. And we present you with this gavel
Thanks so much.
to honor you today.
Appreciate
Thank
you very much, Chuck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Derek Bird, on the immediate past president of the Sarasota County Bar Association, please.
Judge Lakin, I first want to say how proud I am that you've gone into private service, public service, I should say. I know personally how much he's giving up because I've worked with John on cases and he billed a lot.
I didn't
So
collect them all.
the sacrifice that this man is giving up to become a public service, in all seriousness, we greatly appreciate it. A fine advocate, someone who I know personally, proud to call my friend, proud to have worked with you, will miss working with you in the future. On behalf of the Sarasota County Bar Association, present you with a clock that is set back about 15 minutes. So when Sarasota lawyers show up, you can remember the traffic on 301. Congratulations.
Stephen Ledbetter, President of the South County Division, Sarasota Bar.
Even a little further south in Sarasota, on behalf of the South County Division of the Bar, we want to share our congratulations and thank you so much for your service. And as a memento of today, present you of this book, History of Venice, Venice in the 20s, and so forth. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Attorney, we'll now ask Attorney Lisa Bell from the Florida Association of Women Trial Lawyers for Manatee, the Manatee chapter, please.
Well, welcome, Your Honor. We appreciate that you have set your mind on public service. The women lawyers of Manatee County are pleased to have you aboard. Tradition is that we give you the pen so that you can sign all of our orders, and we're welcoming you to the bench. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
I'd next like to ask to come up, please, Andrea Flynn Mogenson of the Florida Association for Criminal Defense Lawyers.
On behalf of the local chapter of the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, I too have been asked to congratulate you on your recent election and welcome you to the bench. We too are very pleased that you've elected to go into a career in public service. And to express our congratulations, we have brought with us today a ceremonial gavel bearing our slogan, Liberty's Last Champion. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Evelyn Moyer, please.
Good afternoon. I beg to be here today to have this opportunity to present this present to our newest judge, Judge Lakin. We share the same educational background. He, of course, from Boston, and me, half the world away. We came from that same educational system where the teachers were called Mother and their last names were always Superior. And there were three important values that I took from that same educational system, which I find appropriate today, which I'm sure you and I both share. That life, every life is precious for its creator. That justice without mercy is cruelty. And that third, there is a permanent record. So on behalf of the Sarasota chapter of the Florida Association for Women Lawyers, we are presenting you this print from the local artist Richard Graves of the Manatee Courthouse for your office.
Thank you. Thanks, Lakin.
I'd like to ask, please, now for Mr. Boyer, Andrew Boyer, President of the Young Lawyers Division, Manatee County Bar.
Judge Lakin, I was honored when I learned that the YLD would be asked to present a copy of Judge Smith's recent publication titled Lawyers and Legends of Manatee County. One, because I've been itching to get my hands on a copy of this, and I got to read a couple of passages. So I would like to read the inscription that Judge Smith put in it for you. To the Honorable John F. Lakin, since 1855, Manatee County has had a strong judiciary. Thank you for serving your community, state, and nation in this important position as circuit judge. You will make a difference. Gilbert A. Smith.
Finally, I'd like to welcome Honorable Andrew D. Owens, Chief Judge of the Florida Conference of Circuit Judges.
John, everybody's been nice to you. I really don't want to be nice to you, but I have to. But, you know, it's been reported to me that you've been kind of wandering aimlessly around the courthouse. And then I talked to Judge Brownell, and he said you had such an introverted personality, he was concerned that people wouldn't know who you were. So on behalf of the Conference of Circuit Judges, I want to present you with a nameplate, and we would ask you to carry this with you at all times to be sure that people know who you are. But we're delighted to have you, Judge.
My apologies. We had one more that I missed. Theresa Jones of the American Board of Trial Advocates.
I got skipped over twice and then finally included. And I guess that makes me the chief judge now, since I'm the very last. I am appearing on behalf of the American Board of Trial Advocates. The American Board of Trial Advocates is a national association of lawyers and judges dedicated to the preservation and promotion of the Seventh Amendment right to a jury trial and to the defense of an independent judiciary. On behalf of the Sarasota-Bradenton chapter, I want to thank Judge Lakin for allowing us to participate in his investiture. I've had the privilege of appearing before courts throughout much of the state of Florida, and I know that the 12th Judicial Circuit of Florida has among the most conscientious and qualified judiciary in the state. Judge Lakin will be yet another asset to our circuit. On behalf of the local chapter of ABOTA, it is my honor and privilege to provide Judge Lakin with this desk plate, which says professionalism and civility, anything less will not be tolerated. This is a creed consistent with our mission to elevate the standards of integrity, honor, and courtesy in the legal profession. Judge Lakin, we wish you the very best in your coming years on the bench.
We had planned to have the video of one of Judge Lakin's good friends and famous actors, Armand Assante, today at this juncture. Unfortunately, we had difficulties with the video getting here timely, so we were going to have to pass on that one. So our apologies for that. But I would like now to move to Mr. Honorable Dennis Archer. Dennis Archer was the former mayor of Detroit. He is a member of the, or was a member of the Michigan Supreme Court. He was the first African-American president of the American Bar Association, which has 400,000 members. He's had a very distinguished and honorable career, and he would like to say a few words on behalf of Judge Lakin. Thank you.
May it please the court. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege to be here this afternoon. My wife and I drove up from Sarasota. She is a former judge of the 36th District Court for some 17 and a half years. And John, I want to let you know that you are joining one of Florida's best trial courts as the representative of ABOTA remarked, and others. This court has a tremendous responsibility. You see them here, and we owe them a tremendous amount of respect. They've all given up a tremendous opportunity to earn considerably more than what they're earning today. As president of the American Bar Association, we fought long and hard, as my successors continue to do, to promote the respect for the rule of law and the work that our judges throughout the United States do, whether it happens to be in state, federal, and our local courts. They make a difference in our daily lives. I read about them. I spend some time in Sarasota, and I read the Sarasota Herald Tribune, and thus I read about the cases that come before them. And it's not easy. I will tell you that as a member of the Michigan Supreme Court, we read some 3,000 applications for leave to appeal every year, and we wrote opinions of about maybe 120 opinions a year. They're called upon to make spontaneous decisions. When a lawyer stands up to make an objection, they're required to give an immediate response. I've observed them when they came in and they were speaking to and talking to the men and women who protect them, the law enforcement officials who are here. And I see how they treat and interact with everybody with whom they work with. You see the collegiality and the humor that they still maintain despite the seriousness of their work. John is going to be a great addition to this outstanding court. He will have the ability to draw upon their collective wisdom as well. He's not afraid to ask questions. And I agree with you as it relates to sports. Just as an aside, my only advice I would have to the members of the bench is that if you have the occasion to play golf with John, please get strokes. As I think Ken and I can attest, when he was practicing law and we had the occasion to play golf, he is a very competitive person and does not have any mercy upon anyone. And by the way, just as an aside, Joy, I don't think anybody today could accuse you of lip syncing. You are outstanding. So John, on behalf of my wife and I, who have had the privilege of being judges, we welcome you into this great judicial family. We know that your life in the past and going forward will be one of observing the judicial canons and always being prepared and being timely, as was your reputation as a practicing lawyer. And those who come before him, as lawyers are wont to do, there's always one on one side and one on the other. And after he gives a ruling, one will say, "Thank you, Your Honor," and mean it. The other will say, "Thank you, Your Honor," and have their fingers crossed. In any event, congratulations to you. You are entering into, I think, one of America's best callings, and that is the personal sacrifice to give up a lot in order that we might have a safe and free society. Congratulations.
With Judge Lakin, you get a 2-for-1 deal because he has a twin brother known as Kenneth Lakin, Kenny Lakin, who I've known many years as well. Kenny practices in the area of sports law and has had a very great practice up in the Boston area. He practiced with John for many years before Judge Lakin relocated to Florida. So with that, he has some remarks.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, I must have drew the short straw to follow a legend like Dennis Archer. So that's John being an identical twin. I'm 5 minutes later, he's still getting back at me. That's the way I look at it. So thanks. And I also want to follow up with thanks to the timing of this, because the father referenced 9 or 26 degrees. When we left Boston, my beautiful wife Beth and I yesterday, and my family, it was 2 degrees out. So I appreciate the timing in January very, very much. I want to welcome everybody here. Thank you on behalf of the Lakin family. We really deep appreciate it. We have people here, for distinguished judges from the 3 counties that were mentioned. Thank you so much for being here. Distinguished political officials. The mayor, Brayton, is over here, great man. So we thank you, the officials, for being here. Fellow attorneys, members of the bar. thank you for being here as well. Law enforcement officials that are here, thank you for being here. In particular, the court staff, all the help that you guys are here, appreciate that as well. The court technical staff, Charles, you guys putting the media stuff together, thank you so much. And I'd like to do a special thanks. I know John's only been here a short time, but he's mentioned to me he has tremendous regard for the court officers that work hard in this court and make this court a safe place, so I'd like to give them a round of applause. There's a lot of people that came in from all over the country. We have people here from Boston, Cape Cod, New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, Iowa, California. We have the great actor Ed Lauder here as a client of ours, and a great friend came in from L.A. The Veros came in from Los Angeles, so we appreciate that. On behalf of all our family, I'd like to acknowledge a few of them. I know John will in his formal speech, but we have a few of our football clients that are out there, including some Boston College guys like Tom McManus back there. And I know Judge Krug's a Notre Dame guy, so we're going to really try to push this up as much as we can. I'd like to thank, obviously, first and foremost, my parents, Ken and Nancy Lakin, are here in the front row, for their dedication and hard work to John and I through many, many, many years of hard work to get here, both of us. They always worked us hard, instilled in us to have a secure an excellent education as a foundation for anything that you do in life. And I know both John and I, as experienced litigators and experienced trial people from doing cases all over the country, when we see young lawyers like the gentleman here from the Young Lawyers Society, we like to stress them on practical experience, get in the trenches and doing cases, because that's very, very important. So we have a guy like John on the bench is significant because he has tremendous trial experience. So you're a litigator, you like to see judges who have that kind of practical experience. So that's a real asset, I think, for this district. I'd like to thank my sister Charlene and my brother Brian for their support over the years. It's been tremendous. Thank you guys. Love you guys. And the one thing that my parents always instilled in John and I was, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're the CEO or the janitor, you treat people with respect, and you never forget where you come from. And that's something that my parents instilled in me. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. I have my wife here, Beth, I wanted to say hi to. Welcome. Her father-in-law, Bill Offinger, came up from Fort Myers. Thank you, Bill. A lot of great friends. John and Terry Daly came in from North Carolina. The president of the New Jersey Bar Association. Kevin, are you out there? Could you please stand? Here he is. I just want to acknowledge the president of the New Jersey Bar Association, Kevin McMahon. My niece Kelly and her boyfriend Jeff, thank you. Just made it by the flight by the skin of his you-know-whats. So thank you for showing up. Okay. I just briefly want to acknowledge a few people that were very instrumental for John and I during our career, starting way back in college. Tina Segala, professor, the Boston College professor, Scigliano. Remember him, John? He was a classic. I can't tell you about some of the deals we did in classes, identical twins, because I get myself in a lot of trouble, especially on tape. So I'll be careful with that. Professor Diane Sullivan, our ex-law partner, state representative from Massachusetts, Arthur Broadhurst, who practiced with us for 16 years in about one of the Boston suburbs. Attorney Joe Marchese and Ron Barnes, who practiced with John for many, many years up in Boston. My cousin, Judge Liz Cremens, and the former federal judge, who was very close with John and I, Nancy Gertner in Boston. Along the way, the long journey that we've had, we've lost a few people that were very important to us, including my uncles John, Joe, Walter Cremens, my cousin Tommy Cremens, Mary Offinger, and one of our first clients, ex-military guy and a great American, Ron Ryan. I want to give tribute to Ron Ryan. And recently, my Aunt Beverly passed away, and we'll be up in Maine, in Portland, Maine, next week for a celebration of life for Beverly. So thank you to all of them. John, long way back. From the old days, living in apartments around Boston, having that long debate of heat versus either macaroni and cheese and beer. So there was always that fight that we'd have all the time. But those were the good old days. Belmont High School, being strong side and weak side safeties, and I always had a little more foot speed so I could get to the ball quicker. So that was always good. But we had many battles over the years in courtrooms from Boston to Los Angeles. Civil cases, criminal cases, and had the pleasure of representing a lot of players and entertainers over the years. My good friend Ed here, we were at the Oscars last year for his movie The Artist, who won Best Picture, and that was a fantastic time. We've been to 16 Super Bowls together over the years, so it's been a lot of fun in those different things that we've done. Just a couple of, I was going to do 2 or 3 war stories, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to do one, because I think it kind of highlights John's ability as a trial attorney to think on your feet, and that's important. For every 200 lawyers you meet, only one's a trial attorney, and there's a reason for that. But we had a case up in Boston. It was a woman who was a CEO of a company, and she lived on a top condominium building, and there was some water intrusion, some mold intrusion in the house. So the insurance company denied coverage, and we ended up in litigation. It was quite a battle. The personal counsel for the condo association really didn't like the Lakin brothers all that much, so it was quite a fight. So we finally get to trial on the case. And John and I, what we do on trials, we'd always have bunker in a nearby hotel, and we talk to the bellman and everybody, hey, we're going to win this case, we're doing this, here's our strategy, here's what we're doing, so on and so forth. So we're brainstorming the night before the case is going to go to the jury, and the jury really wasn't doing that good of a job in terms of paying attention to the evidence, paying attention to the witnesses, the exhibits that are being admitted in his evidence. So John's like, I got to go David Letterman top 10. I'm like, you can't do David Letterman top 10, John. They're never going to go for that. You can't do that. He said, no. Can't. He said, can't's not in my vocabulary. So we go in there, starts the case. No, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the 10 reasons why the defendant won't pay. You know, number 10, my client slept with the building inspector. The construction company did it, all this. So the defense counsel's here to the left of us, and John's giving the closing. He finishes up number 6, and I could see the steam coming out of the counsel's ears. He explodes, objection, objection. We go sidebar. Judge Riley, you know, you're in Boston, Judge Flanagan, Judge Riley. So we go sidebar, and we're at sidebar, and the defense calls, this is outrageous. Mr. Lakin's making a theater of this. It's prejudicial to my client. It's not relevant to the evidence. The judge is sitting there listening and listening. You done? He goes, yes. He goes, I'm actually kind of looking forward to number 5. Needless to say, we came back, and the jury came back and gave us everything. So it worked out very, very well. So I'll just take a couple more things in closing. You know, if you look at the experience John has through all the years that he's practiced, his tremendous strength, courage, temperament, probably unlike me, temperament, character, and the humility to always act prudently and deliberately, as a judge should. I know he's going to be keeping very active in the ABA Judicial section for international law because he studied that at BC. So I know he's going to be speaking to the Belfast, Ireland, and Edinburgh, Scotland, and I'm sure golf might have something to do with that sometime at the end of the year. But as the great Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. once said, the life of the law has not been logic, it's been experience. And John embodies that. John, congratulations. From our Irish heritage, I salute you and say sláinte, a toast to you. Godspeed, good luck. God bless our great men and women of our military who serve and protect this great country. God bless all of you, and God bless America. Thank you.
I think we're at the point now where Honorable Chief Judge Owens will administer the oath.
Actually, I'm a little confused here, though, to who to administer the oath to. I think I'm going to have some identification of proof. I mean, I'm not sure who's the real judge. You can tell both of them are introverts, but you want the yes. Y'all come forward. I'm going to get on this side. John asked me to make it real short. I know y'all heard he's smart, but he said, please keep it short. All right, John, if you'd raise your right hand for me, and please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend.
I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States.
The Constitution and the government of the United States.
And of the state of Florida.
And of the state of Florida.
That I am duly qualified to hold office.
That I am duly qualified to hold office.
Under the Constitution of the state.
Under the Constitution of the state.
And that I will well and faithfully perform.
And that I will well and faithfully perform.
The duties of circuit judge.
The duties of circuit judge.
On which I am now about to enter.
And which I'm now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Let me be the first to introduce to you the Honorable John F. Lakin.
Thank you, Judge Owens. Thank you, Andre Perone, and thanks to my family. I'm going to try to make this brief. Judge Donegan has repeatedly asked me to do that, so I'm going to do that. And, you know, Judge Owens, the great thing about having a twin brother is you can always, as in teaching, you can always have a substitute judge, and there's your candidate right there. A couple of things I want to talk about briefly. Actually, Andre, you know, we met in 2000, so you're off by a year. And, you know, I want to thank, first of all, Judge Charles Williams and Judge Donegan, Janet Donegan. They have been my mentors, Judge Williams in Sarasota and Judge Donegan here in Bradenton. And the busy schedules that they have, the ability to take the time with a new judge and help me throughout some difficult tasks has a profound effect on me. So I want to personally thank both of you so much for everything you've done. I actually had Judge Donegan the other day, because I'm in the criminal felony division. Some of the fine lawyers that I'm working with in that session are actually right over in this corner over there, I think in the public defender's office and the state attorney's office, and they're actually doing a great job. But in any event, they keep using different terms that I'm not familiar with, because it's been about, I don't know, maybe 15 years or so that I actually did a lot of criminal work. And so I had to run back to see Judge Donegan, and she promptly got on the computer with no judicial assistance or no one, just typing away. You need this, John, you need that. So I really appreciate that. Also, Judge Charlie Roberts, Judge Tom Krug, Judge Fred Mercurio, who attended the Judicial National College with me in Orlando 2 weeks ago. I want to thank all of them, because especially Judge Krug, Judge Roberts, for being so helpful in the area of criminal law in terms of helping. And also I had a great run with Fred Mercurio. Judge Mercurio and I spent a lot of valuable time together over the last 18 months. And he's a great man and a great family man. Also, I want to have special thanks to Judge Edward Nicholas. Judge Nicholas and I have been friends a long time. He couldn't make it today. He's actually in New Jersey. And he's been a great person in terms of encouragement and support and friendship over the years. So a special thanks to Judge Nicholas. Also, at the Judicial National College, we had 5 representatives from our circuit, which is really amazing when you think about the 67 counties in Florida. And Judge Moreland, Judge Denkin, Judge Henderson, Judge Berlin, and Judge Burnell. And they were incredibly helpful up in Orlando. And I can remember one of the judges from Tallahassee saying to me that, you know, Judge Burnell has a great theory on how people deal with temperament and personality issues. And he's quickly developing a legend within the judiciary. And I said to him, you know what, I have the luxury of having him next to me, the office next to me every day. So thanks so much. Now, also, there's a couple of people in terms of administrative issues. I want to talk about the administrative side of the court, which is, as my brother talked about earlier, the security issues here. But also, my judicial assistant, Kathy Reed, who worked with Judge Paul Logan, and Judge Logan sitting right here. And Judge Logan is a legend here in Manatee and Sarasota counties. And it's always difficult to come into a situation where the judge has been here as long as Judge Logan, in any way have even a tenth of the experience and respect that he has within our circuit. You know, one of the things that really struck me a long time ago, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, 13 years ago, is the enormous work that Judge Logan did with teen court. And we have people in the teen court system who have issues in life. And, you know, many things that take place above us and the floors above us involve serious issues, as Dennis Archer just talked about. But Judge Logan was thinking out of the box really in 1988, when his own volition he decided to go to Odessa, Texas. And in Texas, he decided, by watching the teen court process, to open that up here in Florida. And because of his hard work, now in 51 counties of 67 in Florida, we have teen courts, and over 20,000 at-risk teens have been helped in this process, including 2 clients of mine who are both in the military now that had cases here in Manatee County. And if it wasn't for Judge Logan and the initiatives he's taken, it wouldn't be the way it is today. So I want to thank him personally for that. Kathy Reed, who's my judicial assistant, worked with Judge Logan for almost 3 decades, I believe, and it's an absolute honor and pleasure to have Kathy as my judicial assistant every single day. The only habit she's trying to get out of, she answers the phone, Judge Logan, Judge Lakin, I mean. So, so thanks, Kathy, for all your hard work. I think you're here somewhere. So, Walt Smith, court administrator, Judith Plessia, Kim Miller, my clerk, Carol Fenton, My deputy, Neil Schultz, he's here, right back here. Thanks so much, Deputy. Also, Deputy Chris Smith works with me as well in courtroom 8A. Also, the Lieutenant Darrell Brown, who runs the security here for the whole building. I want to thank him very much. He's in the back for all his hard work and support. All the court reporters, the court counsel on the 9th floor, they're a valuable help to us, having them available to help the judges. The IT folks, I also want to say special thank to Sue Revel from the Manatee County Bar Association. She's been a great help over the years, and Jan Young as well from the Sarasota Bar Association. Very quickly, because I see Judge Dunnigan's going to be giving me that eye soon. 3 of my committee members, co-chairs, Steve Hines, Eric Bruce, and Morgan Bentley. I want to say a special thanks to them for their help. Also, Greg Hagopian, a very good friend of mine who's sitting in the audience. Greg's support and friendship over the years. And people are amazed to know that Greg and I actually went to the same high school in Massachusetts. And that is amazing that he ended up when he came here to the University of Florida. And also, I want to thank Aman Asante. Kenny and I have had the pleasure to represent Aman for a number of years. And it's been a roller coaster, to say the least, with Aman. He's a great guy and a great actor. And also, Ed Lauder as well, and I want to thank Ed for the great years I've had an opportunity to meet with him. As Kenny and I, Kenny talked about, we had some great experiences in the movies, and to see all the years that you put in over 80 movies. You have the distinction of being the only actor in the original Longest Yard in 1974 with Burt Reynolds, and then the second make of it in 2005 with Adam Sandler. It's been an absolute honor to represent you, and I'm thrilled to be your friend. Arnie Wahlberg, Mark's brother. Arnie's here as well. I appreciate Arnie coming in from Massachusetts. I want to say a special thing, if I can, about Wayne Soares. Wayne Soares is a comedian and actor and a very, very close friend of my family. And, Wayne goes around the world speaking to the military. And he just came back from Afghanistan. And he's also authored 3 books. And he just recently did a book called The Stories That Make a Difference. And he asked me to do the foreword in that book, which I did. And it was a real honor to do that. And there's one section in there that he talks about his daughter, Jessie, who was 12 now, but she was 6 at the time. And he wanted to go golfing. So he told her one day, Daddy, I want to go to the golf course with you. And he said to her, it's going to be a long day. I'm not sure you're going to be able to handle that. And also you have to keep my score. And she said, I can do that. In which Wayne said to her, well, how much is 6 plus 6 plus 9? And she said 5. And she said, you got the job. On a serious note, Wayne, I know he's been to Afghanistan recently. And he called me from Germany. And he had gone to see a soldier. He visited the soldiers in the hospital in Germany. And this particular soldier he saw twice, who was wearing a New York Rangers jersey for one of his favorite players. And the 2 days he went to see him, they talked about hockey and Wayne being the celebrity that he is, and he knowing the people that he knows was going to get the autograph for that New York Rangers player and have it sent to him in New Jersey, and he recovered. So on the 3rd day when Wayne went back to see him, he wasn't in his bed, and he had a head injury, and he died the night before. And that was a difficult thing. And when he called me, I said to him, you're an American hero, Wayne. And I want you to know that when you go visit his wife and 2 children he left behind in New Jersey, that you tell him that there is a system of law. And there's a flag that hangs above this building that stands for something. It stands for justice, stands for liberty, and it gives us an opportunity in our role as judges, an absolute honor to have that opportunity to not forget that. And when you go to New Jersey, Wayne, and visit her and the 2 children, you make sure you tell them that Judge John Lakin sends our very best, and that we talked about him today. Last topic. My brother, Kenny, who I had an incredible honor to practice law 20 years ago, I was also thrilled, not just with some of the lawyers I worked with over the years, but I want to say 2 quick things about my initial job at the law firm of Barnes Walker with Garrett Barnes and Adrian Walker. Here's a guy with a Boston accent that comes into a great city, And the first time I came to Bradenton, Florida was 1986. And to work for two men that I did at Barnes Walker, I want to thank Garrett and Adrian profoundly for their confidence in me and all their help when I worked for them. Also, I worked with Randy Smith for a number of years, and he's here today with his wife Olivia. And Randy's is actually an old friend from 20 years ago in Boston, and he's a wonderful, not just a wonderful lawyer and a wonderful person. He taught me so many things as a lawyer. He taught me patience. He taught me understanding. He has two beautiful children and a beautiful family. And I want to thank Randy very much for everything he did for me. You know, I want to talk a little bit just about my family. You know, of course, growing up outside of Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts, and you know, kind of a real blue-collar town, and you know, visions to be a judge or a doctor or a lawyer were pretty long roads. And having parents like my mother and father was a special thing. And my parents instilled, as Kenny said, education, but they also instilled character. And my father spent 40 years of his life as a mailman at Harvard University, walking those grounds day in and day out, even in 2 degrees temperature. And he never complained. He went to work every day. And I could see that character. And as far as I'm concerned, my father has a PhD in character. And to me, that's the number one trait, regardless of any education. So, Dad, I want to thank you for your inspiration to me. I really didn't think about it much when I was in my 20s or 30s. I was driven. And keeping one thing in mind, it goes by fast. One day you wake up, you're 30. One day you wake up, you're 40. One day you wake up, you're 50. So go slow. Enjoy it. That's what I'm telling the young lawyers. Don't be in a hurry. And to my mom, you know, my mom's always been there, intensely loyal to her family, intensely loyal to me, always encouraging. You know, I can always reach out to them, and it's such a proud moment to have them both here, to be here with me today. So, Mom and Dad, thanks for everything you've done for me. Also, you know, besides my brother Kenny and my sister Charlene, who is an inspiration to me. I know she's proud of me, but I'm just as proud of her. For many years, she was a single mom. She raised 2 beautiful children. One of them is here, my niece Kelly. And those children both graduated from college. Both of them have terrific careers. And it's an enormous pride that my sister Charlene has been able to provide such stability for those children and for everybody in our family. So Charlene, thanks for being not just a good friend. My brother Brian, who's sitting right here in front of me, is a good man and a guy that's spent a lot of time with me through thick and thin. He's never wavered on his support for me through good times and bad times and through many battles. I could call him at any time, day or night, and I did. And he would be there at every turn for me. And to have a brother like Brian Lakin is a special, special thing. So I want to thank Brian very much. Also, to my brother Kenny, you know, Kenny's right. It's been a roller coaster. We've traveled the roads from London to Los Angeles, from Nice to New York, and it's been an amazing, amazing 23 years. 10 years in Massachusetts and 13 in Florida. And it's amazing to see his ability in some of the NFL players that are out there, like Tom McManus and John Wade. And we'll tell you, you've never seen someone work a room like Ken Lakin. So it's amazing to be around him. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about my wife, Joanne, and my 2 children. As you can see, I'm incredibly blessed to have a daughter like Joy Lakin, who's an enormous Manatee High School graduate. Her voice and teacher, Tom Jaminska, was out here, and he's over at Manatee High School doing some incredibly wonderful things at that school. And Joy's a graduate of Manatee High School. And sometimes we spend so much time on the negative things, and we see a lot of that above the floors here, not just here in Manatee County, but in Sarasota County. But it never gets me down. It never got me down as a lawyer. It will never get me down as a judge. There are so many good things in this world, so many good things happening. And people like Tommy are out there teaching our youth today and doing so much for our society. Joy, I want to thank you for being a great daughter. You have a great opportunities in front of you, and I know that you're not going to let me down. You're just going to continue to go forward. One speed, go. And also, thanks to my son Justin. Justin and I are really close. We spend a lot of time together. And Justin's been a great son. And I had a chance last year, amazingly, to spend 3 weeks with him traveling around New England playing baseball, because he's a terrific baseball player. And that was a great thrill to spend 3 weeks on the road. He wanted to kill me by the third week, but it was a great, great run. And finally, my wife, Joanne, Joanne and I have been through a lot. We met in law school way back, I won't say the year, 1986. And that was amazing. And she's at every turn supported me through many difficult things. And through all the difficult times that she's had, she's never wavered. And thanks, honey. And lastly, one of the things that when I talk about young lawyers and what's going on, this, in my view, greatness in the human spirit. I believe that. I truly believe that. I think that there's any opportunity for anyone in life that wants to work hard and take risk, the right risk, because there's no end is where you can go in any job you're in. It doesn't have to be in the law. It can be in anything. There is no limitation. You'll go as far as you want to go. And I think about Oscar Pistorius from South Africa. He was in the Olympics last year as the first double amputee to run the 4x4 relay. It never happened in the history of the Olympics. And it was an amazing story. It really was. When I watched him run, I was just amazed by it. And he lost his mother when she was 43 years old, and he was 15 years old. He never quit. He played rugby, water polo, wrestling, and did not start running to 2004. In 8 years, he was in the Olympics. And when asked by a journalist for his sporting motto, he said, "You are not disabled by the disabilities you have. You are able by the abilities you have." So remember that. There is no limitation. You will go as far as you want to go. So I promise that from my perspective, it's been a great honor to have the opportunity to practice law in 2 states. It's an honor to be in this position, and I promise you I will work as hard as possible to be impartial, fair, and diligent in my duties. Thank you all.
On behalf of the 12th Judicial Circuit, we thank you all for attending today, and that concludes the ceremony.